Welcome to Funnel Hacker Radio Podcast, where we go behind the scenes and uncover the tactics and strategies top entrepreneurs are using to make more sales, dominate their markets, and how you can get those same results. Here's your host, Dave Woodward.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Dave Woodward, your host of Funnel Hacking Radio, and I'm super excited today because you have the opportunity of hearing from the man, the myth, the legend in our office who builds this entire business through Facebook, and that's John Parks. John, welcome, bud.
Hey, thanks, Dave.
Super excited to have you on. This is one of the things we've had a lot of people asking about, and that is, how do I actually do this? How do I actually build stuff on Facebook? How do I actually drive traffic? And I thought, you know what, there's no better person than the John to actually get on and tell us how to do it. So, John, let's just kind of dive right into this. Let's figure this thing out and help us figure it out.
Okay, cool. So there's so many different ways to approach ads and stuff like that. And the one that I found the best as I teach this is to kind of first teach the ad structure that Facebook uses and kind of try to understand their system, understand their algorithm, because they've got this amazing algorithm. It's just massive, and it's like basically artificially intelligent. So you need to understand the intelligence of the algorithm, where that lives, how to interact with it to best know how to run the ad. So I wanted to kind of run you through that today.
Let's do it. Dive right in. So teach us. Figure this thing out.
Let's do this.
What's the algorithm? How do we look at ads?
So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so I can draw on it.
Cool.
So let's see. Can you see this as a canvas of sorts?
It's great.
Okay, cool. I'll hide you down here in the corner. Okay, cool. So Facebook has three levels, okay? So there's the campaigns, there's the ad sets, and there's the ads. And they stack in that way. The campaigns are the big ones, the ad sets are inside of them, and the ads are inside of them. And this is all really important to understand. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw a big campaign just as a box, okay? So this is the campaign. C for campaign. So this is where when we have an offer and we have our, we know what our objective is in the offer, and when we're making this attempt to drive people to the offer, we call it a campaign. Okay, so that means, like, give you an example. So we have a book we're trying to sell, and we know that the objective is to get that book sold, and we're going to try it by doing static image ads, so just a traditional ad with an image, and we're going to do it with an angle of offering the book, let's say free plus shipping, right? And that's going to be kind of the language. So I would call that a campaign. Okay, so you've got that campaign going, and you've built it out. Inside of that campaign, you are going to have an ad set. So I'm going to change my color to just whatever comes up. And these are going to be ad sets. Okay, inside of each campaign, you can have multiple ad sets. So I'm going to draw two to kind of give us.
What's an ad set for people who are listening? What does that mean?
So an ad set is, so let's see. So on the campaign level, I'll just reiterate this so the ad set makes sense. So at the campaign level, you're looking at objectives. So you're telling Facebook what my objective is. My objective is to get more sales. Well, they would call that website conversions, right? At an ad set level, you're telling Facebook who you want to show the ad to and where you want that shown. Okay, as well as it's the place where you control your budget.
Okay.
But the main piece here is going to be who to show it to and where you want it shown. So some examples. You're going to sell your book, and it's a health and wellness book, and it's going to help people lose weight. And so you want to show that ad to a variety of people who have liked fan pages in that same industry. So Jillian Michaels fan pages, other people who are weight loss coaches, their fan pages, maybe some celebrities who kind of focus on this, maybe some, maybe Tim Horton who does, a lot of workout videos, maybe Beachbody, some brands that are weight loss, right? So say that's the audience you want to go for. So that's one ad set. And maybe another ad set is another audience you want to focus on. So maybe this one is you want to target more just the demographic. So you're going for women between the ages of 35 and 55 who have had at least one child, so like you're really kind of trying to develop a demographic of people who would be interested in, who would be likely interested in your ad. And one of the pitfalls with ad sets and targeting, Dave, is trying to have the right mindset. So some people think when I coach people through Facebook advertising, I say, well, is this a targeted ad set? And they say, well, yeah, there's somebody in that ad set that might be interested in my ad. You know what I mean? And you're running your ad, so 10,000 people who aren't interested for every one that is interested. So the goal is to get as targeted as possible. So the thing to ask yourself is not if they may be interested, but almost reverse, who in this target audience would not be interested in my ad, right? And then
Cool.
figure out how to cut them out of the ad set. Okay, so there's ways to exclude. So when you're building out your ad, you can exclude audiences, and you can trim things down and really just massage that interest block until you've gotten to where you're pretty sure that everybody who was not interested is not seeing your ad, because there's no reason to spend $1 on ads. Every single penny you spend on ads needs to be putting an impression in front of somebody who's highly likely to be interested.
So how many people should I have in an ad set?
So it's a good question. So it scales with the interest that you have available, as well as so different industries are going to be different sizes. What you're trying to do is going to be different sizes, but a lot of it has to do with how many people in relation to your ad spending, right? Because if you have a small audience, so small would be like 10,000, 20,000 people in your potential reach of your ad set, you're not going to be able to spend very much. I mean, you're talking $100 a day would kind of cap out those audiences, right? But if you're able to find a targeted audience, a targeted ad set audience that's in maybe 500,000 to $1 million, that's where you can spend about $1,000 a day and still not tap out that audience. So the number to watch on that is a number called frequency. So Facebook, and this is getting kind of technical, but Facebook will give you a variety of statistics as you run your ads. One of them to watch is frequency. Watch your frequency over a week's time period, over 7 days. And if you see it being oversaturated, so I would say anything above a 2. So frequency is how many times the ad is being shown to the same person on average, right? Once you start approaching a 2, even approaching it, so a 1.7, 1.8, 1.9, or 2 within a 7-day period, then you're kind of at the saturation point for that ad set when it comes to budget and ad set. So does that make sense?
Yep, that makes complete sense. I'm just taking notes.
Cool. Yeah. So that's something to watch. So if you're so that's kind of how you scale. So your ad set. So you're going to do some that are super targeted. For example, an ad set that I would recommend having is one that is a retargeting ad set, right? So that's where you are hitting up people who've already hit your page once, and you're putting your ad back in front of them. Maybe it's a new offer, like a new dimension to the offer, something along the lines of, you initially saw the offer, but here's another discount, right? Here's a deeper discount, or here's the down sale you didn't see, or things like that. When you're doing retargeting, you tend to have a small audience because maybe you're only hitting the 1,000 people who hit your page this week, right? So on those, you want to make sure that your ad spend is scaled in relation to that. Because if you super oversaturate it, you're going to be spending like crazy, and you're going to be thinking that retargeting doesn't work on a budget.
Got it.
Because all of a sudden you're spending twice as much as you wanted to make those sales. Well, it's because you're oversaturating. Cool. So that's kind of the brief on the ad sets, and we can get more into the ad sets because that's kind of where the lifeblood of a Facebook campaign is. But I want to go one step deeper. Inside of campaigns or ad sets, inside of ad sets are ads. Okay, and I'm going to just change colors. So inside of an ad set, you've got your ads. You still see my screen?
Yeah.
Cool. So these ads come in varieties. Facebook has a whole bunch of different ones, and they keep adding more. But the traditional one is just a static image ad, which is just an image with some text above it and below it. And the entire thing becomes clickable. If you click on the image or on the words below or on the call to action button, it will take you to the destination that you've specified. So, to your URL, to your funnel, right? That's a static image ad, and those work great. They work very good for retargeting. And they're just a traditional ad, and they're still as effective as they've always been. The other types of ads that exist are types of videos, and I'll talk about a couple different kinds of them, as well as some slideshow or carousel ads. And those are ads where you have some images in a lateral shape. So you can scroll to the left and to the right and see different images. E-commerce uses those image types a lot. So say, for example, you hit their page and you were looking at women's shoes and they noticed that. Well, you might then soon start to notice ads from them in your newsfeed that scroll laterally with 5 or 6 of their most popular women's shoe styled, and it just throws it back up at you, so they can be always in your face and showing you, hey, you didn't buy yet. Here's some of the cool styles on the market right now if you want to come back and buy, right? So e-commerce uses those scrolling ads a lot. We've used them in the past quite a bit to tell, or even currently, to tell a story or to share testimonials.
Oh, that's cool.
So here you've got 5 or 6 slides that scroll to the right or to the left. On a mobile, it would be by swiping with your finger, and they kind of, if this is your newsfeed, they kind of go laterally like this. If you're on a desktop, you just click the scroll button and it goes over to the side, and you can tell a progressive story. So you could say, we did one for Russell Brunson's book, the .com and at first it's like, I had this burning desire to learn how to market, and you flip to the next one, and then you just get little tiny sentences with these. And so then I spent, years trying to figure it out. Scrolls to the next one, and I spent a ton of money and I did it wrong, and scrolls to the next one, and then I figured it out and did it right, and scrolls to the last one, and I put it all in this book for you so you don't have to make the same mistakes I did. Click here to buy it, right? So you kind of tells this progressive story with the images progressing as well.
Is there a certain number to not exceed in carousel?
Yeah, so you're maxed, I think, at 10 now.
Okay.
It used to be maxed at 5. I've never done one over 5. That kind of seems like a limit to me, just like you get tired after scrolling after 5 or so. And that's just, you definitely would want to split test that. If you've got a really cool story, maybe you could keep people engaged for 10 slides. I don't know. Another fun thing I've seen people do with carousel ads is they'll take a really long panoramic image, so maybe like a panoramic view of a Ferrari or whatever, or a landscape, and they'll chop it up into 5 pieces. And so you see this like car that's like extending off of your newsfeed in all directions. And that's kind of fun, and you just kind of scroll through it. I've seen those used really effectively. And this is kind of a clever way to use it. What's fun about those is they're kind of pattern interrupts, right? So normally going through my Facebook newsfeed and I see one of those, oftentimes, personally, I notice that I stop because it's different. Something's different. At least I stop for a second or two because it's different. So those are fun for a pattern interrupt. And they worked really well as a retargeting ad for people who visited our .com-secrets-book.com.
Very cool.
Yep, so those are fun. And then another type of ad is, like I said, the video ads, right? And there's 2 kinds of video ads. There's uploaded videos and there's Facebook Live videos. The uploaded videos are cool because you have the chance to edit them, maybe to add music to them, add any kind of text. So like you get that post-production editing, which is cool. And that can be really effective. And right now we have a very effective video ad running to our ClickFunnels users. I would say users, I'd say cart abandonment people who've gone to ClickFunnels.com, seen the page, but then decided not to buy yet. And it just drops this really short 2-minute kind of demo video, kind of showing them what they're not getting. And it has a fairly low ad spend because, it's just trying to keep the frequency level at about a 1.5 for all those people, right? So it doesn't spend a ton, but it's very effective. It gets people into our $100 a month ClickFunnels program for just about $30 for each one. So it's a good retargeting ad using an uploaded video. Okay, so then there's another type, the Facebook Live videos. Have you seen those, Dave? You've done some, I think.
Yeah. Actually, you were talking about the ones with Anthony, and also some of the stuff we're looking at doing with our affiliate boot camp and have it on moms as well. Just, I think the idea behind it, I was fascinated with as far as some of the metrics you look at to how to turn those into ads.
Let me show you some of that. I'm going to show you Anthony's page. I'm sure he won't mind. So yeah, you can see Anthony's page now?
Yep.
Awesome. So this is Anthony's page. So he's been live, a month, maybe month and a half, something like that. I forget exactly when he started, but not long, and he has already 31,000 fans to his page. And he hasn't spent a single penny on like ads that are actually paying Facebook to get likes, right?
Awesome.
And all of this was accomplished, let's say 90% of it was accomplished using Facebook Live video ads. Now, yeah, it's really incredible. And I mean, we've got static image ads running on his campaigns, and those work well, especially for retargeting in his example. But the videos are what's crushing it. So every day or a few times a week at least, Anthony gets on and he does a live video. So if you click here on his fan page, you go to videos, you'll see him. Right? There's just a whole variety of them, and they're often how-to videos. How to do something. In his case, he's a biohacker. That's his branding, right? And so he's always showing you how to do something, how to biohack strength and conditioning, how to biohack a 30-second morning regimen that'll give you more energy during the day, or a 4-minute leg workout that'll just crush it, right? Or things like that. How to determine, maybe it's not something like that. Maybe it's just educational, like how to determine if your multivitamin is a waste of money or is awesome. And this is really valuable information from a man who knows his stuff, right? Now, the thing to know, I'm just going to play one of these videos so you can kind of see, and I'll do just a piece of it so you can kind of see what's going on. A couple things I want you to notice.
Hey guys, Anthony D.
First off, look how casual it is, right? He's just walking down the street. He's walking down the street and he had an idea and he turned Facebook Live on and he started talking about it, okay? It's 5 minutes long. All of his videos tend to be about 5 minutes, and that's a sweet spot that we've got him doing about a 5-minute long Facebook Live video. It's consumable. It's not scary in size, but it's enough time to allow him in his industry to share some good content. Okay? And the other thing you'll notice is that all these videos are captioned. So after he records them, obviously you have to do it after the fact, because when you're recording a live video, there's no magic captioning showing up. But after the fact, you can go in and you can drop some captions on the video. And this helps because all videos in Facebook begin playing silently. And quite a few people, including myself, watch videos silently on Facebook. Yeah. I'll see a video and I'll just put it play. And I'm sitting there reading the words. I'm like, I'm trying to determine if I want to commit to even turning the sound on.
Right.
Right? I mean, you laugh at yourself for doing it, but everyone's doing it, right? Everyone's doing it. And so like I'll caption the video until some point of like interest happens, right? So I'm captioning it until Anthony says something like, and then I'm going to show you how to do this and this and this. And then I drop them off stop the captions like right when it's really cool, right? When I really want that information. And then the final caption I do is I say, okay, click to turn your sound on because you don't want to miss this. And then I let that caption just hover there for like a full minute. So basically it's just this call to action just hanging out on the video, right? And that's cool because it's an action that I want these people to take. I want them, I wonder if you'll see it. This is probably past. There you go. Can you see that caption?
Yeah.
Turn your sound on. You don't want to miss this. And it just hovers there for like a minute because if they're not willing to turn their sound on, then they're not going to do anything on my website. They have to be interested to watch this video. So this is the first commitment I want them to make, is to turn their sound on, to actually come over here, scroll the sound up, and listen to the video. Because then they're going to listen to Anthony's content because they've already committed to, and he's going to tell them something really cool. In this case, it's a 1 cup of this gelatinous cocktail for daily digestion and arthritis and cellulite improvement, right? And he talks about this broth that he drinks. And then at the end of his, when he's got about 30 or 45 seconds left in his video, after he shared some great content, he usually holds up his book. And this one, he didn't have a book on him even, but it's still an effective ad. But often he'll have a book on him and he'll hold up his book into the camera and he'll say, if you like this tip, I've got 500 more in this book right here. Change your life. You know what? I'll pay for the book. You just cover shipping. Come over to my website, biohackersguide.com, and people go. And
that's so cool.
Yeah, it's really an effective ad type, an extremely effective ad type. And I'm going to share with you the secret sauce behind it that makes it 10 times more effective in a second. Cool. So here's
cliffhanger. Now I got to sit there and wait till you tell.
I know. You won't know. I'm going to wait for 5 minutes now to tell you. So here's the ad, right? This is how you're going to see it in your newsfeed typically. And a mobile would just be a smaller version. But you can see up here, I'm going to show you some of the structure. He's got basically a one-liner headline. It's not complicated. It's very simple. Usually it's just one line. This one's unique that it has more lines. Usually it's just a single line, and then it just has his website. He doesn't even say to do anything with his website. He just puts it there. Because in the video, he's going to talk about it, right? Then you got the video with its captioning. It's 5 minutes long, so I'm just showing you all the pieces that are effective. And then right down here, I usually go in, as Anthony, because I'm running this stuff, and I'll put in a call to action down here. So I'll be like, if you haven't yet, make sure you grab a copy of my free book while it's still free, a little bit of scarcity. Drop the link in right here. Now, what's awesome about links in Facebook, especially in the comment section, is that it drops little thumbnails. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So it's almost like it's like its own ad, right? So it's just it's a thumbnail of his, that comes straight from the site. It's its own ad. It's got its own headline and sub-headline right here. So here we've got a video, because Facebook doesn't let you put any kind of clickable anything on these Facebook Live videos. That's not their game. They want you to stay on Facebook. But you've sandwiched it above and below with your link.
Cool idea. I like that sandwiching idea.
And so no matter where your viewers are viewing, if they're viewing a little higher or a little low, they're seeing your link. And then in the video, you're giving calls to action. You're giving awesome content, and then you're telling them to find that link, above or below, and click on it. So the best part about sandwiching is the comment that has the most engagement is the one that floats to the top on Facebook comments, right? So if you make a comment, you do your Facebook Live video, even if you're not the first one to comment, because maybe you have some fans and maybe somebody sees it live and they're the first ones to comment. All you need to do is make your comment and then start getting engagement on it. I mean, you can even cheat by liking it yourself and then maybe logging in with your friends or someone else's Facebook account and making the first reply to that comment, So you can see some replies to this comment. This right here is a page I own, Life Hacking and High Performance. And it just says, thanks, Anthony, awesome book. Right? Just
awesome.
I'm not saying anything other than just thanks for the great offer or whatever, right? This one right here is another one I own, Crossfuel. Again, it comes in and it likes this post and it says, you're a biohacking master, Anthony, just some social comments, right? Just with one or two of those and a like or two on that comment. Most comments, if you notice, they just kind of sit there and no one really engages with a comment. So a comment that has a reply or two and a like or two typically is going to be the strong one that floats to the top. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes complete sense. Thanks.
Yeah, so
that's cool.
That keeps that comment hovering right up there at the top, sandwich in your video.
I love that sandwiching idea.
And once it's there, and people see comments happening on it, then they join in too, like sheep, right? So we don't know who Lindy is or Shamika or John, or Elizabeth, right? They just started commenting of their own accord on this post and keeping it high. Cool. So the other thing I want to show you is what I call share rate. Okay. So this video right here has 290 views. I know it's probably kind of small text, but you can see it under the video there. And then what happens is it actually has a share count. So how many shares happened. And then you can see that's 2,682 shares on this video for 29,000 views. So that's just under a 1% share rate, okay? If you were to take the shares and divide them into the views. So that's what I'm looking for, something around a 1% share rate on videos. It seems to be a sweet spot that tells me that this video has viral potential, even if it's forced viral potential, right? Some videos go viral, or some videos you got to pay them to go viral, but you get that, right? And what's awesome about that is when people share videos, so that's what we're going after is the shares, because likes are great. Anyone can click like, and they're great, and he's got 3,000 of them. Comments are great, and he's got 370 of them. But it's shares where people actually take ownership of this content. They say, this is so good that I'm going to put it on my own news feed for all my friends to see. I'm going to put my name behind it, like it's an extreme endorsement, because it's going to say John Parks shared this, and it's going to show up on my news feed, and everyone knows that, right? So you want people to take ownership of your content. You want it to be so useful to them that they're going to share with all their friends. So that's how you can kind of determine what to talk about. What's tangible? What's something that they can grab onto? What's something that's useful to them? So if you go to your Facebook newsfeed and you just look through stuff, just start paying attention to things that have a high share rate. And you'll see people share something, a video or something that has millions of shares. And there'll be so this one has 16 million views. Now this is a big
Wow.
on Facebook, but they've got a ton of fans to push their stuff forward. But look at which kind of videos have huge views, huge share. This one doesn't. I mean, for now, that one's not a winning video. Nor is this one. But you can go through and there's 4,000 shares, right? So you kind of divide that into here, 290 views, 4,000 shares. That's a 1.8% share rate. So this video,
Wow.
for whatever it is, it has a viral nature to it. Okay. And as I go through and I do this, for our stuff and pay attention to it, you realize that the things that I can just like grab onto right now or implement today are the things that get shared. So for example, a recipe. So if you're like in the health and wellness space, it's like, hey everybody, check this out. I'm going to show you right now how to make the healthiest lunch you could have that will keep your brain active and your heart healthy, right? And then you make it right there for them in less than 5 minutes, and it's super actionable, and those things get shared because that's useful, right? So that's kind of what to watch for. Now with Anthony's, let me go back here and kind of show you how I determine what videos to turn into ads. Because you can just make a Facebook live video right now and make it an ad, but you don't know if it's a good video. So what I do here is I go onto the page Insights, and if you have a fan page, this is available to anybody. Insights, and then I go to Posts. I scroll down here, and I look at all the posts that are published, right? I switched my, the way it shows me things, the second one here, where it breaks out reactions and comments and shares, because like I said, shares is what I'm after. So I break that out. And then I can just kind of scroll through all the different posts that have been made on this page, and I can kind of look, kind of compare the reach versus the share rate and kind of get an idea. Obviously, there's not a view here, and that's what I really want to see is views to shares. But reach to shares is going to be on the same scale, right? If it has more shares, and less views, then it's like, oh wow, that's a good rate. So for example, this video versus this video. So this one has 6,000 reach and it only has 14 shares. This one has 10,000 reach, so less than half. I mean, it's less than double, right? It's probably 80% more or whatever. But it's got like, what's that? 4 times the amount of shares. So we've got 14 shares versus 61 shares. So this one right here is significantly more viral than this one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes complete sense.
So what I've got Anthony doing is, like I said, just a few times a week or as often as he can, he does these live videos, and some of them are total flops and some of them are great, and he has no idea what's going to be what, right?
It wasn't one on vegetables the other day or some crazy thing that went crazy.
Yeah, I'll tell you, some of the most effective ones have been the most simple, most implementable. So one of them was how to biohack your vegetables so they taste good. And all he shares is healthy seasonings. Instead of putting salt on your vegetables, just iodized salt from the store, which Anthony's determined is not healthy for you. Seasonings you can do that will actually increase the healthiness of your vegetables and make them taste good. So it's super useful. And it's super actionable. Like I could do it right now, right? I just have to run to my health food store, grab those foods, and I can implement it right away. So another one that was super viral, probably the most viral one, is the one where he takes 3 simple ingredients: apple cider vinegar, an organic lemon, and San Pellegrino bubbly water. And with it, he makes what he, in jest calls, what do you call it? Unicorn urine, right?
Unicorn urine?
Yeah, it's a bubbly, sparkly drink that looks like pee. That's the color. Anyway, it's super good for you, and you drink it at the beginning of your day. It makes you feel awesome.
I'll have to do that tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a funny one, but that video goes crazy viral. It's our biggest one. I keep scrolling to find it. It's happened probably, I don't know, a month ago. But anyway, it's just huge. It's a huge video, and it's just simply him doing a recipe right in front of the camera.
That's cool.
And the other thing is that to notice how casual he is in his videos. I would definitely go to Anthony DiClementi's fan page and just watch some of his videos and kind of get a feel for what's working for him as a good case study for you to kind of model, right? More casual, the better. When he tries to be formal and be too stiff, it doesn't work as well. Because you got to think about Facebook. Where's this video going, right? It's going on someone's newsfeed right in between Aunt Jemima's picture of her cat having babies and, Uncle Freddie's picture of his mole wondering if anyone has on whether or not it's cancerous, right? So that's where your video is sitting, right in between those two pictures. You got to think to yourself, that's my visual, right? And so your casual video fits there way better than your formal video does.
Awesome idea.
Cool. So that's another ad type that's very effective. And those are the ads. So back to this chart here. Those are the ads that sit inside of an ad set. Okay. So now, any questions on creatives?
No, that's awesome.
Cool.
I love that, especially the video side. I know you've been talking about that. It's just cool to see how you actually figure out which ones to do.
Yeah, that's definitely a fun thing to do. And, like I say, because of the casual nature of it, I would encourage, everyone who's listening to not be scared of doing Facebook Live videos. Some people think that they're not going to be good on camera or that, gosh, video is so scary. Because it's supposed to be casual, it kind of gives you an out, right? It gives you an excuse. You're supposed to be dumb on a Facebook Live video. That's not working. So anyway, that's kind of about different ideas on creatives, with carousel ads and image ads and video ads and stuff like that. Let's back up a little bit to the ad set. I want to talk about the ad set while we've got some time.
Okay.
Ad set is where the brain of the Facebook algorithm lives. That's its home, right? Is the ad set level. And you have to know this for a few reasons. Excuse me. One is that think of it like a little fluffy bunny that lives in this lovely environment, like this forested environment, and you take it and you put it in the Sahara Desert. It's not going to live very long. It's just not. Okay. So that analogy I use to show to teach the concept of once you have an ad set, you can't change it. You can't change it very much without breaking it. It kills it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and so let me give you some examples. So you got to think of it as, I know this is kind of on the creepy iRobot level, but you think of an ad set as a living being, right? A fluffy bunny that's alive, and as soon as you create it, you give birth to it, and it's going to live in the environment in which it's birthed, and that's where it's going to be native. Okay, what do I mean by environment? I mean by the budget level you set. So $500 a day or $10 a day, whatever that budget level is, that's a reality to that ad set. The people that you're targeting with the ad set, that's part of its environment, that's part of its reality, and the ads inside of it, that's its environment and its reality. So if you change any of that by more than 10% in a day, it's too much. You're going to shock it and you're going to kill it. You're taking that house plant and you're putting it out in the middle of winter, or you're taking the fluffy bunny and putting it in the Sahara Desert. So it's not gonna work. So your ad set changes. If you make a change to your ad set, they have to be subtle and they have to be, 10% a day is the change rate. So if you want to scale, if you've got an ad set that's just doing awesome, you want to scale the budget up, you do it at 10% a day.
Oh, that's cool.
So now you might think, well, gosh, I started it too low. I started it at $10, but I wanted to get to, $100 a day ad spend. $10 a day is going to take forever, right? Well, is it really? Because what you're doing at 10% a day, you're using compound interest, right? Remember that whole story, Dave, where I don't know if you've heard it, but I feel like everybody has, where a guy gives one son $1 million and gives the other son a penny today and doubles it
right.
Doubles it the next day. Well, within 30 days, the son who started with a penny has way more than the son who got $1 million to start with,
yeah.
right? Same concept here. You increment at 10% a day, and by the end of the month, you'll have way more ad spend than you're even wanting.
Oh, cool.
So it doesn't take as long as you think, just because of the nature of the compounding of that interest.
Yeah,
it's not
you're doing
interest.
percentages on top of percentages, so that's awesome.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So, so that's the ad set. So the living ad set, you got to not disturb it too much. A lot of times, I get coaching calls where people say, "I had this great thing going, and then it just stopped working." And my first question is, "Well, what did you change? What did you change to kill your ad set? Because it's alive, and you got to treat it like it is." So
you killed the bunny.
So another way to understand that concept is that the reason why it's so alive is that it's looking at past data, because that's all an ad set. Because it's a learning thing, it's an artificial intelligence thing. So it's always walking backwards. It's looking at past data because that's the only data it has to go off of. And so if you change what's in front of it, it's walking backwards and it's not going to know. It's going to hit a brick wall. But if you change the incline on somebody who's walking backwards, they can figure out a 10% incline change. They can stumble through that and then figure out that new terrain pretty quick. But you can't just all of a sudden put a mountain behind them.
Awesome.
Cool. So that is with the ad sets. So when targeting in an ad set, let me give you a few concepts here, and then how much more time do we want to go, Dave?
I think probably about 10 minutes.
Okay. So let me finish with this then for the next 10 minutes. If you think this is something you want to hear about. So I want to talk about cold targeting in an ad set, and then I want to talk about I'll share with you a secret. It's called the evolution of the high converting infinite audience. Oof. And how to get there. Okay, so you have to step your way into this. Okay, so when targeting in an ad set, you're choosing, and I'm actually going to share screen here, in hopes that it makes things more clear. I'll just hop into one of our ads accounts. Let's start creating an ad. Okay, so when you're creating an ad, like I said, the campaign level is an objective. So let's say on this one, we want to send people to our website. Now, when you're in the ad set, you're choosing your audience. Right, and you've got all kinds of demographics you can choose from and filters you can choose from. So you can choose, what country they're in, United States and Canada. Let's do that. This offer is good for United States and Canada, maybe Australia, UK, whatever countries you like to market in. You can set the age range. And say this one's more of a high ticket thing, so I want to make sure they've got enough money, so I'm bringing it up to 25 years old. But it's technology based, so I'm bringing down the top to, let's say. Right, so you kind of figure out what makes sense for you. On this one, it would appeal to both men and women. This ad would, is my guess. And now you get into the detailed targeting, okay? So let's say that this is an ad that would appeal to internet marketers. So I could start choosing just internet marketers, people who are interested in Ryan Dias, Frank Kern, Evan Pagan, Russell Brunson, Mike Dillard, right? And so I'm starting to build an audience like this, which is good. It's definitely better than building an audience that would just be more of a general interest. My initial thought, if I didn't know those gurus, would just be like, who's interested in digital marketing? Got it. Digital marketing. Okay, so now I think I'm doing good, right? I'm going to show my ad to anybody in the United States between those age ranges who likes digital marketing, and it's a 2 million person audience, and this is going to be great. Okay, it's super, super broad though. So you have to think to yourself, how can we narrow this down? How can we cut out the people who are not interested? Because what if digital marketing to them means something totally different than it does to you? So we need to really refine this and understand, make sure us and our audience is on the same page. So in this initial bracket here, I'm going to put in digital marketing, and I'm going to put in any general interest, like super broad general interest that's on that same vein. So let's say social media marketing is a suggestion Facebook already has for me because I type digital marketing. So they're trying to match things up for me, which is convenient. Online advertising, that one fits this world. Content marketing. And this is or logic. So basically what I mean by that is that if they like any of these things, then they get shown my ad. So any of these count. Inbound marketing, that's general in this category here. Email marketing. So I'm choosing a variety of these, and I could continue. And as everyone I add in here, I'm expanding this audience. So now we're at 4.6 million, when before we were just at 1.9 million. Okay, but now I'm super broad, and I'm going to spend a ton of money, and I'm going to have very little results. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to narrow the audience. So I'm going to put in some and logic. So not only do they have to at least have interest in one of these categories, they also have to match one of these categories. Now I'm going to change genres here. So I'm going to take a drink a sec. Okay, so they must also match one of these. I'm going to drop in all the internet marketing thought leaders that I can think of. Russell Brunson, Frank Kern, Ryan Dice, digital marketer, Jeff Walker, right?
Yep.
So now they have to both be interested in the broad concept and interested in a thought leader in the industry. So they actually have to be deep enough in the industry that they know these people by name and they've liked their fan pages and stuff. Cool. So that's a second filter. I definitely would recommend even going up to a third level, right? So then I got to think to myself, how more can I trim this down? How more can I cut out the people who still might not be interested in what I'm offering? So what am I going to offer? Let's say I'm offering ClickFunnels. I'm going to run ClickFunnels ads as a ClickFunnels affiliate. So I know ClickFunnels is a software, a marketing software. So who in this group, how can I match them up against other marketing software? So I'm going to come in here and do my research and understand marketing software and have that be my third filter. So Kissmetrics is an analytics software that marketers use. Unbounce. Somebody who likes Unbounce might like ClickFunnels better. Optimizely, HubSpot, right? So I'm dropping in all this software. And you'll notice at first, since I have a triple layer filter, my estimated reach is really low. But I'm just going to keep stuffing in software here, keeping in my genre, Infusionsoft, making sure that this block is just software. Aweber, GetResponse, MailChimp, Constant Contact, Crazy Egg, right? Just any kind of marketing software that seems to fit this genre. So now what I have a triple layer interest filtering where they have to like general internet marketing. They have to actually like the thought leaders, and they have to actually also be interested in marketing software. So now my ad is very much only being shown to people who would be interested in buying some more marketing software. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Cool. So this is a good way to begin interest targeting, and that's what you have to do when you start marketing. You've got no other choice.
That is super cool.
You have no list. You have no retargeting. No one's hit your pages yet, and so this is your only choice. And this can be really good if you target it well, but it's almost always going to be your most expensive traffic because it's your coldest, right?
Yeah.
Not that you can't get winning ads this way all the time. But what's the next level? How do you evolve into that high converting infinite audience, evergreen audience? So it comes with two pieces. One is retargeting, because everybody that hits your page is you want to keep putting ads in front of them, right? So what you do is so say for example in ClickFunnels you've got an opt-in point in your funnel, probably at the beginning of your funnel. Everybody who opts into your page is now joining a list inside of ClickFunnels that you can export and you can import into Facebook as a custom audience. And you can say, hey, Facebook, everybody that I've imported into here, let's run ads to them. But let's exclude any of my buyers. And so you export your buyer list, put it into Facebook, and you exclude your buyers from your ads, and you include everybody who opted in but didn't buy, right?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that way you're always making sure that your buyers are filtered out, and those who are taking action on your site are seeing the ads. You can do that with pixels, and if you want to learn about Facebook pixels, you just come up here to the ads manager and you click on pixels, and they've got some how-tos and tutorials for you. It's fairly simple. you're just basically putting a block of code on your page. And then that does what I'm saying automatically. The whole exporting and importing thing, it kind of does it on an automatic basis if you have your pixels on there. To tell you the truth, I also still do the exporting and importing on top of my pixels because I noticed that the audience size is different. There is some disparity between the pixel data that Facebook collects and the actual opt-in data that I get on our funnels. And so I use both of them, and I exclude both my buyer lists, my pixeled buyer list and my uploaded buyer list. I exclude them from my ads, and I include both of my opt-in lists, the people who've opted in actually and the people who the pixel set have opted in. And so that way I'm covering both bases, right? Now, this is where the money is, okay? When you get to this super, super sweet spot. So let me show you. I'll show you in Anthony's account. He's a good sport. Because he's got good data and super recent. So in here, let's look at audiences. So we're going to look at his custom audiences. Okay, so as this pulls up, I'll tell you what we're seeing. You can see right here, I've named it to make just out of sanity. All these boxes. This one is a pixeled audience because I said it is, and this one's an uploaded audience because I said it is, so I can remember that they're different, right? It's interesting as you continue to advertise, you'll develop these ways of naming things. At least I hope you do. That helps you keep organized. Otherwise, you'll go crazy. So with mine, if you want to rip it off, it's how hot is the audience, and then a hyphen. What's the offer, and then parentheses. How did I get that audience?
Oh, that's cool.
So these ones are buyers. When we come down here, these ones are opt-ins. These ones are just page views, right? So they're a lot colder than the opt-ins are, and both colder than the buyers are, right?
Got it.
And then the lookalike audiences that I've created off of those. So you can see my uploaded list is 4,000 and my pixeled list is only 2,000. And that's just discrepancy inside of Facebook. So that's why I do both. But then this is the money right here. So remember back in early computer days, they had the phrase garbage in, garbage out, right?
Yep.
And the whole concept there was you can tell a computer what to do, but it's only going to do what you feed it. So same thing with the Facebook lookalike audiences. And a lookalike audience is a super powerful thing that you can take advantage of once you have these uploaded audiences or these pixeled audiences. So here I have a whole bunch of buyers, a bunch of people buying this book. I uploaded them into here. Now what I can say to Facebook is, let's go ahead and use all the data that you have, over 1,200 data points here, and look through this entire nation and find for me the people that are 1% of this country that is most like my buyers. Okay.
Wow.
And you can do it for any country. You choose the country. So if we did it for Canada, the 1% Canada lookalike audience is going to be about 220,000 people because that's 1% of Facebook's Canada users. In the United States, the lookalike audience is going to be closer to 2 million because Facebook has 200 million Facebook users. Or the United States does in Facebook. So you lookalike audiences can be sized from 1% all the way up to 10%. 10% going very broad. Basically, you're taking a paintbrush and saying 1 in 10 people, right? So that's super broad. 1% being 1 in 100. So you're asking Facebook basically, let's go to the supermarket, grab 100 people, and which one of those is the one I want to show my ad to? And if your data that you gave Facebook is awesome, like an uploaded buyers list would be awesome data, the lookalike audience tends to be awesome too. If the data that you're giving Facebook to play off of to build those lookalike audiences is not so awesome, like it's just a bunch of people who viewed your website, then your lookalike audience is not going to be as awesome, in layman's terms. So I hear people all the time say, well, lookalike audiences just aren't working for me. Well, a lot of times we've got to look at the source of the data. Cool?
That is awesome, bud.
Now, why are lookalike audiences? I'll tell you one more thing and then we can end. Why are lookalike audiences so amazing? And this is why. Because you upload them, and the more you use them, the more Facebook updates them.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so like they want you to keep ad spending, right? And it's easy to burn out an audience, especially a small one. So, if all I was doing was marketing to my opt-ins at 9,000 people in this audience, I'd burn that out pretty quick. I could only spend so much money, and then, I've milked it for all it's worth, right? But if I can create a lookalike audiences off my buyers, the degree of awesome of your lookalike audience would be, mild on your views, kind of good on your opt-ins, and even better off your buyers.
Sure.
Right? So you'll notice right here, I created this specific lookalike audience that I use all the time. I created it, and this one too, a month ago or more. But Facebook last updated it, this one today, and this one 2 days ago for me. Of their own accord, I don't even have to push a button. They just update it automatically. This one down here, I haven't used recently, and it hasn't been updated in the last 25 days, right? Even though they were created about the same time. So yeah. So this 2 million audience just keeps cycling out. And so what I do is I run my ads to this lookalike audience. I exclude my buyers. I exclude the people I'm going to be using in retargeting ads because they're already going to be hit in a different ad set. And everybody that's left in that lookalike audience, I run the ad to, and it performs very well.
So how often do you have to continue to import your buyers?
I just have it on my calendar to do it on a weekly basis just to keep my lists fresh.
So once a week?
Yeah.
Awesome. John, this is such cool content. I can't wait to get this out. I know a lot of people have been asking about it. Obviously, we have our affiliate bootcamp going right now, and people are asking more about this kind of stuff. So I will make sure we get this posted, hopefully within the next couple of days, within the week for sure. But this is super cool. Thank you for your time today.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and if you want more, in depth of this training, I recorded a variety of trainings similar to this with more depth in the affiliatebootcamp.com system we've got going. So.
Fantastic. So again, it's affiliatebootcamp.com. Go and get all John's training. John is the guru, the man, the myth, the legend here at ClickFunnels, and we greatly appreciate your time, bud. Thanks so much.
Hey, for sure. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Funnel Hacker Radio Podcast. If you'd like to be notified anytime we release a new episode, just subscribe over at funnelhackerradio.com. In addition to that, we'd love to send you a free gift. You can find that free gift at funnelhackerradio.com/free trial. One last thing is we love giving away cars. So if you'd like access to a free dream car, all you have to do is go to funnelhackerradio.com/dream car and you'll get all the details. Thanks again for listening.